Um, Good morning. There we go. It's nice to see this image of the bird flying there, this reference of absolutely liberated from the dependencies and the strings. And what I enjoy is the thread of experience and coming back to using the wings and the spiritual side or the Paris intellect, not just intellectual, but reasoning and feeling experience. I really like Arthur Schopenhauer, who is philosopher, put it like this: all truth passes through three stages. So, what are these three? First, it is ridiculed. Second, it is violently opposed. And third, it is accepted as being self evident. And just connecting that with the pata, the limited, just stuck in the metaphorical box, and the gross. Anything outside of the paradigm is violently opposed and ridiculed. And then at some point there's a flip and it gets integrated. So what is this knowledge? I love the aspect brought yesterday. It can be a catalyst to see the absurdity of false identity. To really grasp the subtle feeling of who we really are. And John Milton wrote, "The mind in its own place and in itself can make a heaven of hell and a hell of heaven." So drama situations principally neutral, but who is interpreting it? And yesterday it was mentioned, if it bothers me, it is my choice to see the victim of circumstance, but other option is to use learning and become free. And there is no end to the experiencer when we looked at the perspective of science, scientific rationality, that the experiencer continues, and death may be another experience, rather than avoiding everything we do in life to avoid confronting this idea of exit. Would be great to hear how your experiments are going, any reflections. Meanwhile, welcome back to Prashant.
Thank you. And hello and welcome back. So far we have seen our journey, and starting with the knowledge of the self, we are seeing our journey in that downward spiral, how we are getting drawn into this, the story world and the world of glitter and gold, and how we not only start creating attachments, but we even define ourselves based on it. We are not just playing the part of the camel, but create an ego based on the camel and camel's nose and camel's place, and but along with that, you are disconnected from reality. That includes the self, but everything of yours. And it is a big issue. It is not a small problem. It's a major confusion. Ordinarily it would be considered as a psychiatry, situation. It needs serious treatment. So this is the direction where human race goes. In this model, that's what we are seeing. And good for us to see this. And is this what has happened, or what might have happened? And let us see what it is like to be out of this. And what you discover is sublime and a supreme experience. You realize that our natural state is positive. Natural state is of happiness. Natural is noble. And that's what we saw in some of these, videos we saw, where those who have this out of body experience, they experience bliss even when the body is going through injuries and pain. Just to show that our natural state is of happiness. We also saw the limitations of science. That's what we discussed yesterday, that science cannot provide us the truth, but they come out with some observations, but then there are others who stop it. They just want to stop any research in this direction. Some scientists like Rupert Sheldrake, he does research on telepathy, many things, but one telepathy, thorough research. And other scientists don't want to see it, don't want to, touch it even. It is a bit like that kind of drama that goes on in that institution. Let us come to some experience based on what we heard so far. And it is also a quick revision for us. In first second, we are using paras. And moment we use paras, we see the whole physical world as a story world. Everything that happened today happened in the story. And what happened yesterday, it happened in the story. We have no complaints about the story. We see the world beyond the story. Paras helps us connect with the world beyond. And beyond is the real world, real people. Paras helps the true self to be conscious. It is in a second the game changes. The perspective is from the true self. In a second, you are seeing there is the story there and there is the real world. For him, it is normal to be that invisible presence, normal to be immortal, normal to be so free from the story. Normal not to need anything. Normal to be so independent from this whole story world. Normal to be happy forever. Thank you. Let us hear first any comments from you or anything you want to add.
One question came, this is day before last. It may have been answered, but it's nice to hear your thoughts on it anyway. This person is knowing a friend who's experiencing like a relationship which is of abuse and struggling to not be passive while seeing someone else's role, because there does need to be a response because there is a situation of maybe harm, and how to see the other as a soul, how to handle a situation like that, what's the right way to guide, if the question is clear.
Yeah. I mean, life is life. We are all the time dealing with the life, and different situations come. How do you deal with if children, all kinds of situations come with children. They want to break something, they want to do something. How do you deal with it? You deal with it. You may stop them also sometimes, but what doesn't happen is you don't punish them. You love them. You're things, they don't behave like that forever. You know this. And your attitudes are different. Same here. You remain wise. There is not a huge benefit by being confused. Who will solve any situation better? One who is confused and one can't even see himself and doesn't know the real people also. Will he solve situations better, or one who has better clarity?
Absolutely. I think sometimes it's misinterpreted as passive, to take a position of seeing the soul, but it doesn't negate the role. Maybe some relationships are of a parent, and that's very, you have a you have to be there. If it's a case of a partner, maybe it doesn't mean you have to stay and so each situation is unique, but if there's wisdom, then everything is understood perhaps in the context. So with no other comments right now, I think.
Sure. We are going to come to the subject of today. And today we are going to discuss our mind-connected drama in the form of a story. It is beautiful in a way to describe what is happening, different players in our inner drama. So it is a psychodrama that we are going to hear. The story is an ancient Indian scripture or some epic in India, Ramayana, and it sort of beautifully describes the abstract players in the mind. So I will start with the story. In the story, there is a princess. Her name is Sita, and Sita is married to the king, and the king is Ram. So in the story, Sita is representing the soul. Sita is shown as beautiful, perfect, happy, and she's married to Ram. Ram, who is strong and wise and perfect, and a whole kingdom loves Ram. So in the kingdom of Ram, there is full happiness, constant happiness. But in the story, there has to be a bad guy. So here the bad guy is called Ravan. And Ravan is the king of the demons. So Ravan is the king of the demons. And Ravan wants to kidnap Sita. Why he wants to kidnap? So that he can give her sorrow. But Ravan cannot easily kidnap her because there is a line, and as long as Sita doesn't cross this line, Ravan cannot do anything. You want to tell what is this line? What does this line represent? This line represents ignorance. You know, the moment you cross this line, you are not seeing things for what it is. We saw the dotted green line. It is the same dotted green line. You know, you cross that line, the story of camel and elephant, it has become your world. So Sita is behind the line and Sita is totally safe. Ravan is king in ignorance. You know, there is embodiment of ignorance. And even though he's in ignorance, he has got one wisdom, how to get others into ignorance. Ravan is all the time thinking of clever ways to tempt Sita out of the line. So this time he sends a golden deer. And the golden deer, you see that golden deer? Yeah. Golden. So golden deer is outside the line. And Sita says she just has to cross this line once and then everything is okay. So she crosses the line. And what she finds when she crosses the line, she's in darkness. You know, she's in ignorance. And in ignorance, she cannot find her way back. You know, it is not so easy to go from darkness into light. So she does more mistakes. And now she finds herself in the kingdom of Ravan and kidnapped. And because under the skin of the deer, it was another demon to start with. So now she is here, the slave to Ravan. And Ravan is not just an ordinary monster. Ravan has got 10 heads. And these different heads need different things. And Sita is the slave. Sita has to run because she's the slave to this monster to make Ravan happy. So every time Ravan says something, she has to run to please her boss. So this one head of Ravan, he wants cigarettes. This head of Ravan wants cigarettes. So he says cigarettes, and so Sita has to run to the nearest shop and bring the supplies. And when you feed this head of Ravan, that head gets bigger. And so the bigger Ravan wants more cigarettes. And so Sita has to run more, get more supplies. More you nourish him, he gets bigger. So Sita is in a trap. We sometimes call a reverse gear. All that she wants is some peace with this monster, but you don't get peace. You are going in opposite direction. You feed him and you try to create peace, but he gets bigger and it is worse. And that is one head of Ravan, and there are 9 other heads. So question to you, one head wants cigarettes. Second head, what does the second head need?
Is the alcohol goes with the chemicals in cigarettes.
Okay. And then the next head.
Be certain company.
Yes. So different heads need different things. One head needs another person. Just one head needs position. One head needs bigger hat. Even small things like coffee, it is possible. Some head of Ravan is dependent based on coffee. Some head of Ravan is based on another person, specific person, dedicated head of Ravan.
Someone said good food here, so maybe
Yeah, of
the
course.
taste. Mm.
Food is a big department of Ravan. One is good food, but some head of Ravan is based upon specific item of the food. And at this particular, some chutney it needs, otherwise he is unhappy. So how do you know there is Ravan in your life? Is there a way to know whether Ravan is there in the life, or is it just a natural, normal life? You are just having some coffee. Well, how do you know Ravan is there or Ravan is not there? Ravan means sorrow. Ravan takes sorrow, gives sorrow. Demons are like this. You know, so anytime you feel you are missing that, know that there is Ravan there. Any form. You are missing a place, you are missing situation, you are missing a job. Then some people find that they are away on holiday and they are missing their work. So the Ravan is involved in it. And so if you are having coffee, but one day there's no coffee, you are missing it. Food, if there is some different kind of food, body will survive. But if you feel you are unhappy, Ravan is not getting his chutney.
Yeah, someone's written craving, or someone else said a wanting. So maybe a kind of underlying desperation.
Yeah, desperation. Sorrow. In any form, sorrow, then there is Ravan behind this. So we are seeing a psychodrama in our mind. So we said Sita represents the soul, Ram represents God. We said this dotted line of Lakshman, it is called, that represents line of ignorance. First line, it's not just line of Maryadas. The first line of defense is come out of it, wisdom, adopt some level of confusion, ignorance, and then the slide begins. Okay, what are these heads of Ravan then? What do they represent? These heads.
Different aspects of lower consciousness. Someone's written the vices, lust, anger, greed, and yeah, habits, bad habits,
And what is behind the bad habits? What is behind the
desires,
vices?
me and mine, identification, impulses, ego.
What is behind? Good ego. So what we saw yesterday, different false identities in a I that we used yesterday, they are like little heads of Ravan. One eye wants position, and if that position is not there, he's unhappy. Another eye wants a big hat, he needs to be seen with a certain image. And one eye is based on subtle things and gross things. But these are different eye. They are the heads of Ravan. And Sita is the slave. She is full time busy to feed these heads of Ravan. And all that, as we said, she wants some peace, but more she feeds this monster, he gets bigger. Now Ram sends a message to Sita that you are in trouble, but I'm the Almighty. I was sharing this story in one gathering here. You three are like retired people. And one man said he got really annoyed with this Ram. He said, this Ram is not taking responsibility. I said, that is. But Ram is giving freedom to Sita. But there comes a time Ram says, okay, you are in big trouble. You are feeding this monster, and Ravan remains Ravan. Like some animals, like some dogs, they may be very aggressive, but you feed them, they become friends with you, and they may love. There is some different side of the dogs, of animals. You can see even the most cruel animal can behave differently in some situations. At least to some people, they may be nice, or some creatures. Whereas Ravan is Ravan. It's a demon. It forever is 100% selfish. It deals with sorrow, giving sorrow. It remains that personality forever. So Sita is feeding, doing favors and favors on to Ravan. But Ravan's agenda is to give sorrow forever. Bigger Ravan wants to give sorrow. And so Ram sends a message, you are in this big trouble of this with this bully, but I'm almighty, I can free you. But to become free, Ram says there is a condition. He is happy to help. Ram is very happy to help. But there is a condition. And the condition is that she should take decision. Ram doesn't help without her permission. Just as a surgeon might say, I can do the operation, but you have to give the permission. Same here. Ram wants to consent. So is it easy for Sita to take this decision? Let me clarify this. This is a psychodrama. This is going on in everyone's head. In your town, if there are some 20,000 people, this drama is going on in each one's head. And this is happening in the heads of those who are atheists and those who don't believe in the soul, those who say there is a soul. It is in everyone's head. There is Sita in their lives, Ram in their lives. There is a lion, there is Ravan, there is a psychodrama. This game is going on. So is it easy for Sita to take this decision? Decision to become free from Ravan. Right now, she's the slave of Ravan.
It appears, yes, someone is saying, I mean, who would want to be a slave? So
Okay, yes. How many in a town, we said in your town, if there are 20,000 people in your immediate world, how many want to become free from Ravan? How many are running? How many are asking you to make them free? How many want to become free from their alcohol and cigarettes and in your town?
someone's saying very few. And someone saying it's like drug de-addiction with relapses. So not that many are coming, wanting to come.
Okay, the choice is either be queen to Ram or slave to Ravan. This is a choice. Is it a very difficult choice? Difficult to take this decision?
No, not when you put it like that. Not in the cold light of day.
But as we are saying, this decision is difficult also. And it is difficult because Ravan has got an assistant, and name of the assistant is Maya. and Maya is intelligence in Ravan's administration. And so what happens, with the Maya? Maya, Ravan has appointed Maya to go into the world of Sita and don't let her take the decision. This is the only program for Maya. Don't let Sita take the decision, because if Sita takes the decision, then Ram helps and Ravan loses a slave. So the big strategy of Ravan, is don't let Sita take the decision. It really shows to us how strategic this decision is. And the whole life is revolving around this decision. And so Sita is there, and so Maya comes into her world. Maya comes as a very good friend. And Sita likes this Maya very much. Sita feels very good with this Madame Maya. And so Sita appoints her as the main advisor to Sita. And each time Sita has to take any decision, she checks it with Maya. Sends a WhatsApp message to Maya. And Maya takes a decision very quickly, yes, no. And Sita is very happy with Maya as an advisor. Anyone got Maya as an advisor? Or don't know? Okay, let me
She's
give you.
self-appointed, I think.
Okay. Well, for example, Sita might say, maybe I should stop smoking. It is not helping me. And that is Maya. She checks with Maya. So should I stop smoking? And Maya thinks for a while, and then Maya says, maybe wait for what? Wait until in the beginning of the year. Do it from the 1st of January. Why in the middle of the year? So each time you hear the word later, it is coming from Maya. Another time Maya says, you are very weak. You won't be able to stop it so easily. Another Maya says, it is very difficult. And Sita says, yes, it is difficult. Thank you. Another time Maya says, it's a long process. It will take lots of time. And Sita is listening, yes. And sometimes, if, but, not these are Maya likes these words. But and if, Maya has got special lawyers working for it to think of excuses. Another set of corporate lawyers to think of doubts. What is the form of Maya in the cities? Do you hear all this Maya? Do you have Maya in your town?
It's almost like, feels like seeing it to believe it. So when we talked about science, it sort of throws away anything of any subtle rationality with the, evidence-based. So we don't look any further.
Yeah.
Peer pressure, authority, trying to conform with the majority,
Yeah, in different form.
misguiding, maybe, yeah. Busyness, no time. lots of shopping malls.
Right. Yes. One form of Maya in the cities is you are kept so busy that you have no time to find out why you are busy. Even you are running. You don't no time to check which direction you are running. You have to run faster. Others are also running, so you have to run faster. Sometimes it has happened. Some at the airport or something. If there is a queue, someone goes and joins the queue. It doesn't even find out where is this queue going to. What are they joining? Where is this queue? So some are running, and you also join. Run. Culture, different culture. And this is not an exaggeration. This is like the very strategic, success. If someone listens to Maya, that's the end of the game straight away. If you say to yourself, it is difficult, that's the end. If you tell yourself you are weak, it is the end. Later, it is not just one time later, it is each time it will say, do it after 5 minutes, do it later. You are busy right now, you are doing something else. Something else is important now. This is like the absolute program of Maya. Something to underline this, and at a subtle level and at a gross level. Inner practice also. You will find it is all the time there's later. So there are excuses created by Maya. Maya will create doubts. Maya will keep you busy. Do you want to add anything?
Yes, few questions.
Yeah.
Um, is it that there's a fear sometimes to be a new person, as it were?
So,
Yeah, I was just remembering when I was quite new to these ideas, one of the sisters at the center said, "You just become more you," which was, it helped me because I did feel like I was becoming as if a new person. I didn't identify with this new feelings. So I think there's a fear to go against who we thought we were all along. And I think that's how I understood this question. Maya might try to protect the status quo, for example. The one who doesn't come to these ideas, can we say that that's just his role or part in the drama?
we don't know. They might come tomorrow. And yes, it is a process. They hear it. It sort of goes into the system. They have to reflect on it. It's a journey for each one.
And sometimes we're not happy with our own efforts and we want to do more. Is that also Ravan or Maya?
Not let us first see the blatant forms of Maya. These are like you know very blatant. And once we stop the gross level, then we will ourselves notice the subtle forms of Maya. So the language, you hear these languages from someone. I'm not in rush. I agree, everything, this is all true, but I'm not in a rush. And Ravan is never in rush. He wants to stay Ravan. He doesn't want to remove Ravan. So the another language, those who are with spiritual ideas. Recently, it was discussed. You use the word, "Oh, Maya is so terrible. Maya made me do this." Maya. But you act from that. You say Maya also, but you act from it. So it is good for us to realize this is, even though it is shown in a drama, there is a Maya and there is a Ravan, but to know that it is all within us. It is not something external. We are seeing it external to understand the subject, but it is our creation. and we have the option to stop it also. We are the ones who will stop it.
Like to protect the original quality of perfection to get some space. Yeah, interesting. What do you do if you're truly busy with work, office, home, even if we're involved with spiritual service?
Busy. Here, to first understand which direction we are going. Have I understood what is happening in my life? Am I working for Ravan, or do I want to be free from Ravan? What is going on? That is what the important part of that is.
How to discern when it is Ram and when it is Ravan?
When it is when you are behind the line, that is a question. Yeah, when you are, the Sita, that is conscious, and when you have crossed the line, it is Ravan. Ravan's whole positioning is coming from that story. All this ego, they are 100% based on that story. Story is, as we are saying, it's a foreign world, it's a temporary world, it is a fictional world. Ravan lives in it. That is that full ignorance. That is totally natural for him to create some ego around something. When we are behind, then it is a life of the alokik. You are thinking beyond the physical, beyond the story. That paras becomes natural, and that reality becomes natural.
You're approaching the story from beyond rather than from inside it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no other questions right now.
I'll just complete this part. So what we are seeing here, there is a game within ourselves, in our heads. And in this game, Ravan and Maya are on one side, and Ram and Sita are on the other side. And this is the game. Ravan and Maya on one side, and Ram and Sita on the other. And just like in any other game, there are winners and losers. So also here, there are winners and losers. Winners get prizes and losers get penalties. So also in this game, there are prizes, penalties. But enough to know that there is a game that is going on here. And the game is Ravan and Maya are on one side, and Sita and Ram are on the other side. Game. And we said game means it is, there are results. You win or lose, and penalties, prizes. In other games, even in Olympics, the maximum prize you get is a medal, and penalty is a red card. In this game, the prizes are real, penalties are real. In this game, this story tells you that if you see any kind of misery in the world, its reason is defeat in this game. If Maya wins, there are penalties. And they cannot be skipped. No one can change it. The penalties are real, prizes are also real. It comes in our journey, the journey through our story. The different penalties come, different kinds of sorrows, but different prizes. Both prizes and penalties come in the story. Different kinds of births that people get, that is because of there are reasons. They have won the game. That's why there are big prizes and life. They are born with golden spoon in the mouth. Yes, you want to say anything? You want to add anything?
Maybe that when there's more clarity on this game, we know where we should work, because otherwise a lot of energy is spent looking at other seaters, and the line is kind of external, like situations, people, but that drama is neutral. But what's the battleground is more the mind, who's interpreting everything. And we want to work for Sita of the self, but also others. Like the whole thing completely shifts the ground.
Yeah.
Question: do you mean that if we're behind the line, we are doing like good karma and get a prize, like a good birth with a rich and happy family?
Absolutely. There are reasons, all kinds of births people get. Like in one day, same day, there could be someone born where a whole country celebrates the birth. Another same day, someone else is born and there is no food for parents to eat and child is born. You get all kinds of situation, in this world. Misery of all kinds and crisis of all kinds. And there are reasons behind. One is the birth, and but we are talking about the health and wisdom and the intellect and qualities of people around you, their interaction with you, how they treat you, how they behave with you. Every little thing has its reason, roots, and roots are your game. What is the score in the game? That's why this game is called Raz. The nice word is used to describe this game. And by calling it Raz, it tells you it is very important. It's a game, but it's not some peripheral game. It affects everyone wants good life, not a misery. So this Raz tells you big secret about life. And it also means it is hidden. It is not obvious, this game. So to understand this game is such a great secret. You have understood a secret about life. Now the next thing that comes, there is one game, and that is boxing, where one player becomes unconscious. And it is allowed to make the other person unconscious. And if he becomes unconscious, what happens? He doesn't even know that he's in a game. So in your town, we were talking about your town, we said all the siddhas, they are in the game, but if they don't even know that they are in a game, it means they are knocked out. They are unconscious. And applies to everyone, even those with spiritual ideas. They are sort of in some kind of a la la land and not aware that they are in the game. During that time, they are unconscious. Those who are conscious, then they will know definitely that they are in a game. They will know who their friend is. They will know who their enemy is. What else will they know? They said they will know the game, they will know the friend, they will know the enemy. What else will they know?
Thing close to home. Yeah, that was a hint. Yeah, they will know themselves as well.
That's true. They will know who they are, and they will also know. What else will they know? One is they will know who they are, and they will also know the line. They will know the dotted line, the line of.
Know who they're not. Someone's written.
Yes. If you are playing a game and you don't know the crease, you will be stumped out. You need to know the crease, and then you know how to play the game. So the present state of the human world, we are talking about the Sitas are knocked out. They are planning their birthdays and they are planning, they're busy, and they don't even know that here they are in the boxing ring and other player has made them unconscious, and that they are queens. They don't even know that they are queens. When they are unconscious, they behave like zombie players. They're doing everything, but they are zombies. And they're just managing to survive. This kind of whatever they are doing, blindly they are slaves to Ravan. They're just doing whatever Ravan needs. They are zombie slaves. That is what is happening when they are knocked out. That is why in the story there is a reference to a herb, and this herb is called, you heard this name?
Yeah, www.sanjuni.
So Sanjivani. Okay, where do you get this herb Sanjivani? Where do you get? Which mountain they will find the herb Sanjivani? In the story, where did they find the Sanjivani?
High on the mountain, someone's saying.
Which mountain?
Sweet home.
Sanjivani is in the story. Which mount they find it? They say Himalayas. That is the mount. That's the name of the mount also where they will find and Sanjivani. But we understand the real Sanjivani is knowledge, spiritual knowledge. But even the spiritual knowledge, there's so much in the spiritual knowledge. So how do you know? In other words, there are so many books and so many ideas, all spiritual. So many of them are contradicting each other. Someone says God is one thing, someone says God is something else. So how do you know which is Sanjivani and which is not Sanjivani? Because you are going to give your life here. You need to be a bit clear if you are going in the right direction. I would think so. One has to be, a little bit, not just go and do anything. But how do you know which is Sanjivani?
Someone's written the one that gives you Paris intellect. Right knowledge to give the Paris intellect.
Sure. Any other way of knowing? Which is Sanjivani where there is no Sanjivani? If there is Sanjivani, you will recognize that there is a game. And there will be results. You will understand the game. If Sanjivani will have results. So Sanjivani will help you discover who you are, will help you discover your enemy clearly, not in a superficial way, Maya, illusion, something like this, Ravan, some monster. No, you're observing the monster within you, observing Maya's cleverness within you. That is, that then there is benefit. So if there is Sanjivani, you will recognize yourself as a queen, one who is like the king, not as a slave. And you will recognize the, the line of discrimination, first line of defense, we said. You are understanding where there is ignorance and where there is wisdom. So to understand all this very naturally, then that is when you understand Sanjivani has worked. One can talk about God, 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 but you are not even aware that it's a game. Then he is in ignorance. He himself is zombie slave.
Maybe you could share a bit about this, because that is, it's interesting that the words can be, in theory, right, but we're approaching it with a slavery. And how do we discern? Now we understand it is becoming free from Ravan, but what if Ravan is using the language of Ram? And that's kind of what we see, I guess, when we become a devotee of, in the name of Ram, many things are done.
Yeah. And we will be seeing those things in more detail as in further down. But at this stage, let us understand this overview of this game, the players and prizes, and how this game is so relevant for each and everyone on the planet. It is relevant to us. We are in the game. And let us presume that here is a gathering where we have understood what it is all about. Sanjivani has worked. Let us presume. That's why we understand the game, we understand the friend, we know who the self is, who Sita is. We have understood the enemy. And so the Sita is conscious. But Sita is conscious doesn't mean you have won the game. The enemy is still in the boxing ring. And enemy has been made very big all this time. So Sita is conscious, but it doesn't imply the victory. What happens next? How can Sita gain victory? I would like to hear from you. Sita is becoming conscious. That itself is a good news. But how can we take it to next level of victory?
If there's no Ravan on the planet, to keep or remain inside the line, behind the line with Paris. That one is written. I was thinking of a system of reminders, because it is, Ravan will come with new forms, maybe all the different heads.
Yeah, sure.
When the game versus a stronger Ravan Maya, so you have to be stronger than Ravan and Maya. You need strength. Stop the supply. What is written? Constant awareness of the game can help Sita win.
Let me ask a question. Imagine, so you sometimes have seen boxing in the television, some game somewhere, and imagine the one player is getting injured and he was unconscious and just became conscious before referee gives him knockout, and he is now back in the ring again for the next round. What are the chances of he winning the game, more or less? He's defeated, he was unknockout, but just became conscious. He's back in the ring, back ready for the next round. What are his chances of victory, more or less?
Someone is saying less, someone is saying more. More because of his learnings from the failure. I would say I feel he may be a bit weaker from all of that being knocked out. But yeah, 50-50 response. Perseverance, someone will say. We have to go for more. Another round. I'm saying less. I think you feel a bit sorry for them because they've already been knocked out.
Yeah. No, ordinarily, chances are less. But to get victory, you need new information. And any war also, if you are to go for a war, you need new information for a war. If you don't have the information, then you can't win a war. So here, Maya and Ravan, they are all ready for the war, and you are in this war. What new information? Now, in the information, any war, you need to know what enemy is capable of doing. And the defense ministry, intelligence, they all have to find out what is the preparation of the enemy and what is your strength. You need to know this, both sides, very clearly. If this is not very clear, you can't just win the war. You need to know what is the preparation inside. So Ravan, what is the weakness of Ravan? If you want to defeat him, you also need to know his weakness.
Giving him attention. He needs attention. Someone says kill his heads, but doesn't describe the weakness. That he needs nourishment.
That is good. That is good. Like say, imagine you got a car, but it needs fuel every 10 minutes, it needs fuel. Then it is not a good car. If the car that can work for long hours, without topping it up all the time, then it's a good car. If there's a car that doesn't need anything at all, then it is excellent. Solar powered, just operates by itself. Then it is wonderful. You can take this car and go around the world. Plan something like that. So you need to know the weakness of the enemy. Here, each head of Ravan needs supply to survive. If you stop the supplies, that head of Ravan becomes unconscious. And this is the weakness of this enemy. Stop the supplies. Just hitting on the head is not enough. Stop the supply. So a cigarette, one head needs cigarette. You don't give cigarette. That head is becoming smaller. Say amongst your friends, someone stopped smoking for 1 month. That's a great news. He's almost victorious. almost finished. It is a bit like that. So each time you are winning, stopping the supplies, you are winning. And that because that head of Ravan is becoming weaker, smaller. But in the stopping of supplies, you also need to know Ravan can survive with just thoughts. He doesn't need to smoke cigarettes, just think about cigarettes. That keeps him alive. Mind is very important for Ravan, for all these 10 heads. So mind is constantly kept busy by Ravan, thinking about different things, junk. But it appears very random thoughts and wasteful thoughts, but they are not waste thoughts. Ravan wants them. Different heads, they need them to be alive. So that is Ravan, and you need to know, okay, stop the supplies, stop also the supply of thoughts. How to stop the supply of thoughts? One definite method here, keep the mind busy with Ram. I reflect on this, how to keep the mind busy with thoughts of knowledge. That is also knowledge of Ram, thoughts in different ways. Find create a program for the mind so that you remain busy, mind remains busy with Ram. If it is you are not using it for Ram, then it will be used for Ravan. It is literally game is like this. Your body, eyes, if you are not using them for Ram, they will be used by Ravan. Choice is one or the other. There is no United Nations peace zone in between. You need to work either with Ram or Ravan. That is and beautiful strategy. We are talking about Raz here. The most secret game, most important game, and you can get a big score. You stop Ravan makes one commit sin. It becomes lower. It feeds the enemy. Here you are taking a position that Ravan is stopped, and Ravan's heads begin to shrink. And one head goes out of your system. Just one head stopped, and it is unconscious. It is like one demon less in the system. There will be so much happiness. Every time you are just stopping any one head less, there will be more happiness, one demon less. And within this, to understand, the big heads of Ravan need to go first. Some people think I want to remove 7 heads, I want to keep 3 heads. In fact, what you think, the 3 heads, that is your main Ravan. Those 3 heads have to go first. And you got the strategy, you know the method. And moment you stop the supplies, those heads shrink, those heads become unconscious, and you are then mind is free. You don't need to keep thinking about those petty things. Mind becomes freer to use it for Ram. So the grand strategy. I will also quickly share here what we need to do with Maya. We saw Maya. Maya has got its cleverness. Ram has antidotes for each form of Maya. For example, Maya says, do it later. Ram says, what would Ram say? Now or never? Maya says you are weak. Ram says you are Shakti. Shaktis are those deities who ride lions. Maya says it is difficult. Ram says it is easy, Raj Yoga. Maya says it's a long process. Ram says it's a game of a second. Maya comes with excuses. Ram comes with solutions. Your job is to think of solutions. Maya keeps you busy. You need to find out your destination. Busy is not a problem, but busy in what? What are you doing? And if it is doing neutral action, then it will become easy. Ram is with you. Angel is going with you, for shopping or whatever. If Ravan is involved, then you will not be able to take Ram with you. That gives you an idea whether you are in the camp of Ravan or camp of the Sita. Busy, but busy in what? Having that destination clear. What am I trying to achieve here? That destination. Maya will come with doubts, and your job is to have very, very clear. We use the word nischay. Nischay means being sure beforehand. The reason we are encouraging discussion, questions, rational discussion, science, your foundation has to be based upon you feeling very comfortable and you of all the other ideas, you're understanding this makes more sense and this is your positioning, not based on belief, not based on faith or something like that. But if that is your positioning, deeper positioning, doubts won't come. Otherwise, Maya will just knock you out, for smallest reason. It says, no, I don't, it may be all, you're out of the ring straight away. Put the foundation very strong. Until the ultimate method to come into that nischay is being very sure, is experience. We said when we're talking about the story of chicken and the eagle, he's not sure whether he's eagle or chicken. He has to start using the wings, experience the eagle. And once you have experienced the eagle, no one can prove you that you are chicken. No one will dare to tell you you are a chicken. So doubt will not come. Here come into the experience. But until then, we also need the clarity and the foundation of knowledge. Excellent. So we will be taking some break. You heard the broad story. That there will be a written version of this. We need revision of this. And those who are hearing it for the first time, it will be good to go into it and then study it, knowing your personal, how it applies to you at a personal level.
Absolutely. It's the personal application, and it's even if you've heard before, sometimes you hear something completely new, very helpful. So can create time now for reflecting on this, and maybe the question could be, what inner games do you notice within yourself, and what would help Sita win over Ravan? Is that okay?
Yeah, that would.
So just let's create a few moments to reflect on that, and we'll open up the room shortly. A few moments for this feeling of Sita in her own world. Thank you. Today, I'd like to welcome in Praveen, who's joining us from somewhere in India. I believe you can share where from, and it'd be lovely to hear your experience with experimenting with Sanjeevani. So, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Sarah, and I am from Jaipur, Rajasthan, and I am doing the retreat for the second time. The first one was like in Hyderabad, that Silence Retreat Center. So I have attended there, and it was mind-blowing experience. And after that retreat, there is a huge shift in the consciousness, and 2-3 days means I was on next level. It was like a great experience for me. And after that, from last 3-4 months till now, after that retreat to today's current date, so now my completely focus is on these things only, like whatever uh, discussed and learned in the Sanjeevani. I am in Gyan from last 8 years, and I there also I was doing good. But now after Sanjeevani, things, lot of things got changed, and now I am focusing more on subtle things instead of those like outside practice, like wearing the badge, white clothes, and all those things. They are also beneficial in some way, but people don't want your clothes, your these badges, and all those like whatever external things are going on. But they want our virtues. They want to. They want that we should contribute in their help, how we can help them. So in that way they want. So now I am continuously practicing those 1 minute or 2 minute practices. And I also took 21 days classes in my center also based on this only. A Sanjeevani retreat, 21 days retreat I took there, and only but it was like 5-6 students were there, sometimes 9 or 10 also, and they also feel very happy after doing this retreat. And they are still saying that we have to repeat it or do some things like this. So all are getting beneficial. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Beautiful to hear your experience. And when Prashant was saying, like, if one head of Ravan is less, so much freedom and energy. So it really came across in your sharing, and lovely to hear you. And we also love to hear from Sanjay. And yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, and thank you again. Well, for me, it's like 24/7 inner games. even in my sleep. Triggerings are there, thoughts are there, new ones, also old ones. When I encounter old one, I know, well, didn't finish that one the first time. But as was said, when once you knock out, but you come back to the stage, you know better how to win the next round if you still have the strength. So it's like this, it's like a PlayStation, and the luck is that we know how to win the game. There is this suitcase full of those weapons, this knowledge, how to know your enemy and how to knock it down. The last drawing was exactly one of the map for the best weapons whenever something is coming up from Maya side or Ravan side. So this is really what helps to win over Ravan, this know your enemy, know your strength, and use them at the right time. And when you find something weak in yourself, not be despaired, but strengthen that point, that weak point in yourself. You have the tools, as was Praveen said beautifully, just to be busy, more busy in this beautiful knowledge and use it at the right time. Shanti, thank you.
Yeah, it's very practical on the field, as if, and it's not that Ravan doesn't come with prompts and Maya doesn't come with all the facets, but it's the wisdom to bounce back, come back, weaken that track as if minute by minute, really. Thank you both so much. And hi, welcome back to Bhushan. We just need you to unmute, Bhushan.
Thank you. And I was saying, nice to see Praveen again, and appreciate sharings from you and Sanjay. So it is nice. So far, what we have seen is what is under the surface. We need to get a overview of our life, and then we also need to see the details and subtlety. To bring about change, we need the details. Not to get bogged down. Repeatedly, we need to see the big map. Ravan and Maya, they are good players. And if we want to win, we need to be good players. Otherwise, not possible to win this game. And we all want a good, we want to give good future for others. Like you might like to see good for your friends and people around you, country, and this planet. But if we are working at a superficial level, and Ravan and Maya carrying on with their work, you can't. Because there are penalties. When Ravan wins, there are penalties. So this life that is with some kind of blind spots, that becomes the reason for misery on this planet. Sometimes people say they are all nice people. Why are they getting this? Just being nice is not enough. We have to be right. We need to play the game properly. Nice, but you are also not understanding Ravan. there are penalties. So we might as well, understand it properly. Like today we touched the subject, but it is, we mentioned worth revising again and see at a personal level, what would it mean? What are the heads in me that need to go? They are like parasites, these heads of Ravan. And the penalties are in this world. It is not just nice, it is not just a luxury, the spiritual ideas, but it has application in this world. So we will come back to our sketches and feel free if you want to. This is a good chance if you want to ask and verify any of these ideas. But let me share one aspect here. You need few powers to win this game, and one power we already saw, decision, so important. If the decision itself is not taken, then there can't be victory. That's why Ravan has appointed Maya just for this decision. You take a decision, then that changes the game. Ravan is really frightened about this. You take a decision, Ram comes to help you. Ram becomes your companion. In your life, it is not just some theory. He's not going to help you in getting more gold, but he's involved. He will be involved in your life if you take a decision. So you should be on the right side yourselves. Another useful power for us is discrimination. We understand this. It is like being able to detect some different meanings of this word, discrimination. Like some thought comes, you need to know, is this thought from Maya? Is it thought? Where is this thought coming from? What kind of ego is this? Which identity is dominant? Some subtle discrimination in yourselves. And all of this, more you use it, they become stronger. More you use concentration, it becomes stronger. More you use paras, it becomes stronger. Use discrimination, a little bit introspective. If you too much extrovertedness, then you lose the chance, you lose the opportunity. To observe certain things in yourselves. It will continue to improve, get refined. Another important power for us is determination. Anyone who has determination, he wins. In fact, the enemy gives up. If someone has full determination, enemy thinks of a defeat. So another great quality in need here is discipline. The army that has discipline, that army wins. In this case, discipline implies, someone says, I'm going to create time for my own personal growth at a certain time and no compromise on it. Every day he creates 15 minutes or half an hour for his personal practice. What will happen? There may be Maya might come in between during the day, but it becomes a reset. There is a time you are coming to this highest consciousness, highest state. You come to paras, and in that light, all these shadows disappear. Mayas and Ravans, they get cleared. You understand things differently. You got a discipline to meet amongst yourselves, like what was shared in the sharings. You got a gathering you get a company, and in the company, new enthusiasm comes. If the discipline is not there, then you say, okay, one day I do something, one day I do something different. Discipline is not there. Then Maya takes chance of that. If there is a structure that stops Maya. Discipline, army that has discipline, that wins. If you have a very clear destination, your own, not based upon what you heard somewhere. What is your own destination? Do you want to become completely free from this ignorance? Do you want to be free from Ravan? Do you want to achieve that highest state? Is that your destination? If that is your destination, you win. In a game, you need to be very clear where you want the ball to reach. There is a goal post, and so then it guides you towards the destination. Otherwise, one can go in circle. So here, the army that has discipline, that wins. And army that has destination, that reaches the destination. I'm coming to another subject, and that is prizes. In any game, if you win, there are prizes. In Olympics, there is gold, silver, bronze. And do you know what is after bronze in Olympics? Who is in sport? After bronze is wooden spoon. you get a prize in a spoon. And so here also there are prizes. Everyone gets prizes. And the first prize is not a medal, but a golden age. You are not just golden spoon even, age, many births. They differ. We'll come to know more about this. Second prize is silver age, not just a little medal. What is the third prize? And the copper age, not a wooden spoon. Fourth is the iron age. But everyone gets prizes. First birth becomes a birth of prize, maybe for many births, depending upon your score. And higher the score, you will get prizes that last longer. So the prizes. It is a secret. The Raz, we said, you understood the secret. The secret game that exists. Once you have understood it, you understood something very precious for yourself, for the world. It is very fair. Like some people ask why someone is like this, why someone has illness, why someone is unfortunate, why someone suddenly becomes the king. It is what we discussed, the subject of Raz. It tells you that there is fairness. It is not random. It is not random. Someone suddenly becomes a king and someone is having a problem with his life. It is not God that gives someone problem. There is no one else, the enemy. It is each one's score that decides. In fact, this is such an absolute law, no one else can interfere in this. Others can interfere only if it is within your score. If your score is not good enough, then something will become instrument to become a problem. But if you have the top score, no one can interfere. So what an amazing thing. 100% in your hand, and it is a very fair system. Each one has a choice to score. Each one has a choice to go for the big prize. And each one is supposed to know, like in the life, you need to know what you should be eating, what you should not be eating. And nature says you have to work out, how to grow food. Each one is supposed to work out. Someone else might help us, to learn, teach things how we can do. But nature wants you to work it out yourselves and win this game. Then you get a big prize. If some things are made easy, that's excellent. But then we have to take responsibility. All along, we have to take responsibility to understand the subtlety of this game and win this game. No one else can play this game for me. I have to play the game. You cannot play this game for your friends, for your relations. You can make it easy, but each one has to play the game. They get prizes, they get penalties. Thank you. So let us hear some thoughts from Sarah also, and from others.
Just a question here. How do I check my score in this game? I think you've sort of touched on it earlier, but anything to
In time, it might be clearer, or it may not be clearer, but be busy going for the top score. Be busy. The real important thing is how to go for the top score. And that we have discussed. So more you are in that, you are using paras in that perspective. You are not feeding the enemy, that is top score. If you are eradicating Ravan, top score, you are helping others also become free from Ravan. It's the top score. Victory, be busy with victory, overall victory, and you get a top score.
That's really interesting. It really shows where sometimes even within the game, there are these little distractions where we're analyzing, but not going for the top. So somehow that needs reminding, the subtlety. Then from there, contrast is more clear and we see, and things are smooth. Is there a possibility to get a lift in this game or get bonus points?
Maybe, but there is a fair system, and in a fair system, even the lift comes based upon my efforts. It appears like a lift. It appears like a bonus, but everything need to have a reason. Why should someone get a bonus and not others?
Yeah, that's good to know there's fairness, and maybe connected with this question or this point, a question was earlier, what about those who are not destined to get this knowledge of the inner game, and they are performing actions without this understanding and creating more bondages, karma, bad karma unknowingly?
Yeah, means there are many factors, but our responsibility also to make it available. If you feel that there are those who are not aware, make it available. Our job is to take the water to the horse, and the horse may drink, may not drink, then you accept it, but you take water to the horse. make water available to the horses.
I think that what I can see is if your progress is the best thing, you're running with it, because then others see, like here we've got not horses usually but cows, and there's a herd, and sometimes one gets an idea to run really fast and others don't know what's going on but they join. So it's a bit like that energy. If someone is really enthusiastic with continuity, consistency, others will see and may also be inspired, might start running. Of course, we're slightly different, but it is like to change the herd, some insights. So there aren't any other questions that are connected to the subject of today right now.
Another minute of experience.
Maybe before we finish on that experience, I will share the recording, a temporary link to a G drive. And the reason is the previous one is not accessible at the moment as Gmail is down. That's why we haven't uploaded yesterday's recording to the YouTube, but we will make it available on this new temporary link. Hopefully the thing will resolve tomorrow, but this, you'll get access to today's story also, and yesterday's and today's recording. Yeah, sorry, please go ahead.
Yes. So a little attention on the intellect. We are using the best sight, best intellect. And the moment we use paras, we are seeing very, very clearly. That is what the fun is. If something is temporary, we are seeing it as temporary. If something is fictional, we are seeing it as fictional. But we are also able to see the world beyond fiction. Paras can see the big map, and the world beyond is the world of the family. All are living stars, all are immortal. And just by being free from the story, they become naturally free from ego and attachments and vices. Free from sorrow. And their life's natural state is of happiness and contentment. They know of their immortality. They know of their absolute security. So nice to know that all are good, all are safe, all are noble. And this is an eternal secret. Story may be very, very dominant, but it's a story. And in the story, there is a beginning and an end to everything. That's the story. At the same time, we are seeing the true family and the real world beyond. We are also seeing the true self. Is the invisible witness He is the invisible traveler. He understands. He is very, very lucky. Just being free, that's all that's required. Free from the story world to experience this wonderland, eternal wonderland. He knows he is lucky, he knows everyone is lucky. As we continue on this journey, we remain aware of this option paras. Thank
Thank you. Nice. Being free to experience eternal wonderland, and also it's inclusive. They all are belonging to that. So, thank you so much. Meet again tomorrow.
What is the homework? The homework will be to revise the story. That is the main homework on top of other things. In that other homework, we said it is a ongoing homework. Those 4 steps, 4 times, that is ongoing homework. But also on top of it, today is revision of this story.